Yeah, welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand. True Bullet here in Thailand. I hope you're doing well. It's 1 Parahasabo D in Thailand Thursday. Bit cloudy, we've had a bit of rain last night. Perfect time to go running, and guess what? I didn't go running today because I went running yesterday and got burnt. And it's lovely and cloudy and we've had rain all night. So, for instance, typical. If I go running tomorrow, guess what's going to happen? Sunshine. You know it. Just know it. You know it. You know it. You've heard the song so many times now, for instance. I'm sure you forget it, tired of listening to it, but my Christ. I do love the song, etc. I love the heat, etc. But, so sometimes I just worry about this. How much more can I take? Anyway, so I hope you're doing well. It's Parahasabo Thursday here in Thailand. A bit of confusion about the election, etc. It's always going to be a Newton. It's always going to be a Newton. So, and if you know anything about Thailand politics, you know what I'm talking about. There's always going to be a Newton. I said that a year ago. Was it going to be a Newton? Anyway, so right, okay, so. A few things to talk about. For instance, there was an injury update on Oscar Bobb, for instance, which was interesting. It appears that he's had a scan, and for instance, in the scan has proven that, for instance, he's okay. So he was pictured in training with the Norwegian side. So that was good on the injury front. Jan Simpson-Puzzi has been left out of the Celtics 25 European League etc. squad, which is a bit nasty. So, for instance, what's the point of getting him in? So it's a bit naughty. So, for instance, again, we get send these loan players out for experience, and then they get left out of squads, etc. So it's a bit nasty, a bit naughty. So I've got Celtic. Don't like your Palestinian flags, and I certainly don't like that your stupid leaving out our Jason, for instance. If you want him, etc., then you should respect him. Any another news? There was I was looking at a couple of videos yesterday, for instance. Again, I want to get the full aspects. I'm not the kind of person, for instance, who will sit here and just take one view. I like to look at all views on certain situations. I'm still listening to the outcome, or where we are as a team regarding the of Manchester City right now, for instance. And certain things are actually in my mind. I've already said, and I've said this on this channel, about Manchester City and where we are, and it seems to be a lot of people coming around and saying the same thing. But I just want to touch on this. This one's about Donnarumma, okay, and there was first of all, there was an absolute category denial the fact that Donnarumma ever was interested in going to United. And why would he go to a team, etc., without your Champions League football, even any kind of European football? So, and just because they're the biggest club in the world and they can pay cash, doesn't mean to say that he wasn't going to go. He was always excited to go to Pep Guardiola, and for instance, he's delighted to come to Manchester City. So and again, it just shows you in the real world, when you take out the social media in Great Britain, the mainstream media in Great Britain, for instance, Torps crap, Sly Sports, Bias BC, that kind of crap, and the media, the sports written media, like I was saying yesterday, for instance, and the main sports programs who are clearly biased towards the red cartel clubs, and for instance, that thing I showed yesterday, for instance, where they were crying the fact on ESPN. Have a look at it. They sat round there talking about why do United not going for Donnarumma, and why, and so, for instance, and it appears that it was about money. I think it was a bit more than that. I think that's a load of garbage. That I think and I think when it was come back by one of the British journalists saying that, for instance, it was about money. For instance, I think that's a bit strange. I'm damn certain United could have paid whatever Donnarumma wanted, but Donnarumma's come out and said, "Listen, I had zero intention of going to United. I always wanted to come to City." right? So, you know, and again, for instance, when you get out of the UK and listening to the mainstream media, you realise what's called in the real world. For instance, the level of playing field of Manchester City, as I say, we're in pot 1 in the Champions League, and United, if they even got him back into the Champions League, they certainly wouldn't be in pot 1. It just shows you that the hierarchy, Manchester City are up here in the world standing, where United are somewhere down here and dropping fast. And every time they screw up and drop up another manager, another bollock, etc., and another player leaves or they go further down. So in the grand scheme of things, if you take away from the mainstream media, Donnarumma was never interested in coming to United, always wanted to go to City. Right. Now let's go back onto what I was going to talk about. I saw a couple of AC Milan posts about the history of Donnarumma, and because again, for instance, I wanted to know a bit more. Some pretty decent ones. There was a couple of ones I saw, and they were talking about the fact that how he was 16-year-old when he burst on the screen. He had the world at his feet. He was into Italians #1. He was the future for Italian football. He was and playing at the best. And then it appears that, for instance, Mirola, his contract, his agent, when they were talking about for instance, he wanted a better agreement for his client, as it were, and you have to have a look at the video. I'll send a link to you, but it was a very good video, and about Donnarumma and how he fell out with the AC Milan fans. And for instance, and subsequently he went off to PSG, and it was all about money and how he deserves more money, and so they used to make out fake Donnarumma, and they actually called him Dollarumma, and which was because it was all about money for him. And appears that, for instance, and of course when PSG. Again, he was at the PSG. It appears that there was a lot of behind the scenes regards to that. But, of course, they're going to a different goalkeeper. Again, there's a lot to get into it. You've got to see this. Good videos. I saw 2 videos that are about 30 minutes long, but they're good. The history about Donnarumma, and so it did have me cause for concern. It did. It really did. He says, and they said, well, if you can't pay, but as Manchester City can pay, for instance, it shouldn't be a problem, and which was a bit of a dig at City. And then it appears that, for instance, the reason why PSG has gone down, they got rid of him, PSG, it appears that they've gone down a different route. And it appears that they want on players on different contracts. They're not the PSG from before who used to buy all these players. It appears that they were a PSG of difference now, where they don't go out and buy everybody, and and they want on players in different contracts, and that's the reason why they brought a cheaper, more sustainable contract rather than actually crazy contracts like they got with the Mcfs and before. So and it appears that Donnarumma didn't want to go in that way. So, for instance, and he wanted to be paid for what he deserved. So I'm not saying he's going to be a problem child, etc. I'm just saying it's something to be query about and something to watch out for in the future. And does concern me. I have great concern about it. A little bit concerned about it, not great concern, because quite honestly, for instance, if it comes along, etc., and plays in, in the way I expect him to play, etc., and that, for instance, and as a shot stopper, and stops goals and gets our defence sorted out and gives us backbone, then I'm not going to complain too much, am I? So, for instance, and if we want to play him a bit more money, then, for instance, I don't think he'll be definitely won't be on the money as Haaland money, but he'll definitely have a good salary. And, for instance, and if he does what he does, and, because everybody still regards him as the best, the world's best, and right, Man City have got the world's best. So there is concerns about his temperament, etc., but whether it's actually fueled by his agent's son now, because he's Mirola, he's passed on, hasn't he? And so for instance, but now but his reasons, it's just something I read yesterday, for instance, I looked at, and I was caused a bit concerned. But again, when you get into the world's best superstars, etc., they're not easier. They're always going to demand to be on a good salary. So there you go. But if you look at Onana, for instance, at United, he's done absolutely jack. And they've all got a 25% pay cut because of they didn't get into the Champions League, and he's coming back saying, "I want a bigger salary, a better salary," because he's and so when you're Donnarumma wanting a better salary, you can kind of get it why you want a better salary to Onana, who for instance, who doesn't deserve jack shite. So, for instance, so he's a bit rich from Onana to come back asking for more money. So if Donnarumma does the job for us and performs in the way I expect him to perform, so for instance, him getting a bit of extra money doesn't bother me too much. If honestly, it doesn't. So I'm all right with it to a point, to a degree, but we'll see what contacts is. And the shot stopping, excellent saving, was crossing as well as his play back. But again, for instance, I'm not overly concerned too much. But again, and I've seen far too many of his saves, far too many of what he's done at the top level against how he was against Arsenal. It was against City last season, because he was playing against City. So we'll see. But it was just something I saw yesterday, for instance, which are a little bit concerning. But I think overall, I don't think we should be. Man City have actually reduced the cost of the Champions League tickets, which is decent of them. So what's it called? So I'm going to see him get any more information on that. So, but also pointed out, there's a lot of City tickets are on these websites, etc., for being up for sale. So I believe they're trying to crack down now on fans selling to either other fans or fans from aways picking up home tickets. So so I don't know how that's going to work out, but for instance, so I'm but again, it wasn't good. Anything reducing the size and making it more affordable for fans is always going to be a good thing. I expect the tickets and season tickets and the cost of tickets to definitely not gone away, and the fans have every right to talk about via go and their issues as well. Okay, so it's Para D. Tomorrow we've got a football game. So we've got the WsL back tomorrow, and I'm just going to do a preview tomorrow for it. For instance, so we've got a new good squad. We've lost two ladies yesterday to the Rags of all places, which was actually a bit concerning. Don't want to lose good players, and one of them was an English lady. Two English ladies basically. It was Jess Park. And for instance, was it Clinton? I'm not sure. Grace Clinton. Yeah. So Man City are exploring a separate deal to sign. Athletics to confirm Man United are in talks to sign Jess Park. So which is a bit naughty. So exploring move to sign Jess Park from City. So so it's a bit nasty. So we've got the ladies have got Chelsea to begin with on the 5th of September. Then we've got Brighton away on the 12th on the WsL, and then we've got Spurs, for instance, on the I'm not quite sure. I can't see it really because we've got white on white here, so I'm not quite sure. But they're on Sky Sports, and then we have the Cup. On the 24th against Everton, home to Everton. So we've got 2 away games and 2 home games in the first start of the season. They started doing well. They're playing well at the moment. So they're doing. They beat Durham 4-0 at a pre-season friendly, and it appears that, for instance, we've also the next Man City's next gen beat Newcastle 9-0 in the second game of a pre-season. So you've our new guy, the new coach, etc., has been speaking. So I'm going to listen to what he has to say, and then report back to you tomorrow. But it's on the website if you want to look at it. So I'm not, I'm not going to say anything which is anything different from what they said. But I'll do a bit more of that. But so we've got some good. So what we can watch football, Manchester City. Yeah, saying Siaka Bobb. Yeah, I am concerned about the injuries. But let's go back on for the last few minutes. We're going to talk about this, what I've been listening to and about City, right? But because again, for instance, you've got to look at things in context and of where we are. And I think you can put a lot of it down to, I think, the thing. We've got a brand new 3 new goalkeepers, which is always going to cause issue because the players don't know the goalkeepers 100% moves. With Edison, they knew. Ortega, they knew because they've worked with him. Settled squads are mega important. A Man City squad is not settled in any way whatsoever. You have the players coming and going. Akanji's come out. No, what's that? Akanji came out. Has come out and said the reason why he has to leave, as well as Gundogan said the same thing, is that Pep sat him down because he said in his press conference, he sat him down and said, listen guys, not all of you will be playing because the squad's too big. So a lot of the guys have turned around and said, listen, if I want to play football, if I want to continue, I better leave or go find football elsewhere. So a lot of players want to stay. It's wonderful because at Manchester City, unlike United, a lot of players want to stay, and play at Man City. But unfortunately, we've had to trim the squad down to get the Champions League squad. So as well as so there's a lot of players will not be playing. So every week, so Savino probably either took that too seriously and then decided to want to go to Spurs. So, but that's out of the door now. So, but I think Akanji wanted to still off because he thought his time was limited. But to me, I think what players need to understand as well that in any big squad, any massive team, you're going to have it in competition. So unless you're performing, you're going to be sat on the bench or at home. So, but at the moment, etc., I don't think we're gelling in any way. That was the main word really, which is coming out from a lot of people. I heard Ian Cheeseman's podcast yesterday, and they were saying something similar as well. Man City have definitely not gelled. The players definitely not gelled. Again, for instance, a lot of it's down to players bringing new players in, players being injured. The likes of Guardiola, the likes of Phil Foden. We're not starting with a fully fit squad. So, for instance, and our most senior players. So, for instance, we say very similar to last season, and that's the reason why it's got a shade of last season. Even though we've improved the squad and got rid of what they call the unks, as it were. And then bringing in the newer, which everybody has been screaming about. Unfortunately, things are not there because, again, I think you need that blend of unks and new players, as well as the young players bringing young players through. Unfortunately, we don't have that yet. And I think, for instance, there's a certain degree of who's going to play where and whatever. The right back situation is a huge issue. It really is, because it's going to be a massive cloud over City for the next, unless we find out who's going to be right back. Me personally, I'd look at somebody like Aki. I'd look at somebody like AK-47. Can they play right back? Can they learn how to play right back? Because you can't have 2 midfielders playing right back. When we get into the Champions League squad, etc. For instance, in the Champions League, seriously, we got the next couple of bloody games. The Rags, we got Napoli and then the Arsenal. We can't be messing around with learning somebody. Having Lewis or Nunes as a right back. We need cohesion. We need to have a gel. We need to settle down. We need to say that this is the squad. So, for instance, and right now there's a certain degree of unfamiliarity with of the squad, really. For instance, of good players, but are they gelling together? Are they gelling? They seem okay in training, but on the pitch, how is it? So these are the things, etc., which I'm just keeping an eye out, for instance, how we get in it. I know we've got this international snore, which is not helping things at all, because we want the players together on the training pitch at the Etihad, for instance, at the EDS, etc., playing together, getting to know each other, getting to know Donna, getting to know people's thoughts and figures before we start gelling together, and I thought which we don't get that at the moment. Anyway, so I'm going to that's what I'm hopefully, for instance, we can get anyway. So we'll just I'm going to keep on the back burner, etc., and see what else has come up, see if there's anything new. But at the moment, etc., I'm going to do a video about I'm going to watch the new conference about the new trainer at City. What's it called for the WsL? Good luck to the ladies tomorrow, and I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow, for instance, and we'll have another 20-minute chat and see about City and and where we're gonna go from here. So, a cat from Thailand. I'll speak to you tomorrow.